to a little bit of an update on my mower review. I'm going to be showing you just some footage of me mowing the lawn and using this mower. I recorded this footage early July. Really, I just wanted to provide everybody an update on what's going on with the mower and how I like it so far. So far, I am still a fan of this mower, and I would recommend, if you looking for an electric mower, you're already in the battery system, that you would probably want to look at this mower seriously. It's a 700 series DeWalt mower. It's a 60 volt battery system, and this is actually the second mower that I've got this season of this exact same model. So to update you on what's happened, in April I purchased this mower brand new from Home Depot, and I used it. I liked it for about a month, and then after about a month of using it, it just flat out died. I recorded a video that kind of documents that. The mower would start for exactly 1 second and then just turn off. The only thing that I can say that could have caused that is leaving the battery in it. Again, I kind of go over that in a little bit more detail in the previous video, which I'll link here in a card or something, or in the description. Go check that out. But needless to say, today I would attribute that failure mostly to a fluke or just a manufacturer's defect. I can't really say what exactly happened with it because I ended up returning it under the return policy with Home Depot, no questions asked, and got a full refund. Used that money to buy the exact same mower again, but this time from Ace Hardware. They don't have quite as good of a return policy, but the price on it had been about $100 less. I'm outside of that return window, and I think we're right around 2 months of time since I've had this second mower, and everything has been going great. Performance of the mower has been pretty much exactly what I expected. It mows your lawn. Not a whole lot else to say about it as far as that goes. So there haven't been any recurring issues or things like that I experienced with the original mower. And again, I can mostly just attribute that original mower failing as a fluke. So as far as what do I think happened to that mower, I kind of talk about this in my video where the failure happened, but the only thing that was different about that mower, and from the last time I used it from when it failed, was I put it away with a battery in it and stored it with a battery inside it. The instruction manual for the mower specifically says not to do that. And when I went to go use it again, which was about a week later, that battery was completely dead flat. Hit the battery button to check the status of the battery, and it wouldn't even light up. That's how dead it was. That battery still worked. I was able to recharge it. It worked with other tools, all of that, but it just would not work with this mower. I also tried other batteries which were not left in the mower. It also, still the same thing, would not turn on for more than like a second. It's not a battery issue, anything like that. I don't know if there's a heat fuse, a thermal fuse, or some sort of other overload protection that is built into the mower that might have caused it, or if it was just flat out defective. I really can't say. When I called DeWalt support, they advised me to return it to Home Depot for a refund. And so I didn't take it into a service center or anything like that. I didn't have a technician look at it and say, what was wrong with it. I don't know what happened with that mower after I returned it. I would imagine it probably went into a return pallet liquidation through Home Depot, or it could have gone back to DeWalt, the manufacturer, for them to figure out what was wrong with it. I don't know really what would have happened with it. Since then, like I said, I got the exact same mower as a replacement, and I've been really happy with it. So the question is, do I regret getting the same mower again? And I would say no. And the reason is just because, again, I really liked the mower when I initially got it, did everything I wanted it to. The only thing is that original mower just failed. Again, probably just due to being defective. So I don't regret getting this same mower again, because this one, it's gone the whole rest of the season without any issues. The original mower, before it died, I had it about a month, and we are right at about 2 months after that. So I've had it for 2 months. I mow once a week typically, so there's probably 8 to 10 uses that I've gotten out of it without any issues. Another question I see in comments from people is like, why DeWalt? The whole reason really just ties into the reason that I got this mower again after the initial one failed. And that's just because I already have a bunch of DeWalt tools already. I have 60-volt DeWalt tools. My string trimmer is a DeWalt, string trimmer, a 60-volt. I have an air compressor. I have, a compound miter saw, and then just a bunch of other power tools for DeWalt. So that's really the tools system, the battery system that I'm already under. And kind of once one of these big tool brands get you by the batteries, I mean, you're kind of in there. The only other battery system I'm really into is the Milwaukee 12 volt, and that's because I think they make really good 12 volt tools. The DeWalt 12 volt battery system to me doesn't make a whole lot of sense. It doesn't seem like it's really any more compact than their 20 volt system, so it just doesn't make sense to use it. I've also had some people asking in comments, well, what about Ego and like all these other electric mower brands? And to be honest, I really couldn't tell you anything about them. I've never used any of these other brands, and I would really have no reason to try and use them because I'm already in the DeWalt system. I've already got their batteries. I can't even tell you how many batteries of theirs I have. It's quite a bit, well over 10, I would say, because they do make yard and lawn equipment in addition to the power tools. It just makes more sense for me to, use that battery system I'm already in. So I really couldn't tell you about how this mower performs versus Ego or others. I think I have a couple neighbors who have like an Ego mower. My next door neighbor, I think, has an Ego mower, but I've never used it. They've had it for at least a couple of years. It seems to work for them. But again, the main reason that I really wanted to get DeWalt over this, Ego brand, or I think there's Greenworks you can get at Costco, and a couple others, is just, again, because of the battery platform. I'm already locked in with a lot of DeWalt stuff already. And then another thing that gets asked quite a bit in all of my videos about this mower is, what about the battery? How does that work? Now, this is a 60 volt 700 series DeWalt mower, and it 100% can run on a single battery. And I'll refer you to actually this footage that you're looking at right here. There's a switch right behind the motor or where the battery is, and you have the option of putting it on battery 1 or battery 2, because it takes 2 batteries and you can choose which one you're using at any given time. I mostly just leave it on battery 1 pretty much always, and leave it at that. And the yard of my size, I am able to do all of my mowing on a single battery and a single charge, so it's not really an issue. You have the option of having that second battery if you have a much larger yard. You could flip that switch on the back of the mower and have it point to the other battery and certainly use it. For my purposes, I'm getting through an entire mow on just a single battery, and you can see right here as I pull this battery out, just doing my front yard takes about 10 minutes and uses about 1 bar of battery. Not a big deal. Another thing I will speak to is really on automatic mode. So when I was doing the mowing in this video and pretty much every other time, I leave it on automatic mode. So you pull back the bail handle, turn it on, and it just goes into automatic mode. It does speed up and change the speed depending upon how thick of grass you're in. It knows somehow resistance or whatever of the mower and will kick up the speed and increase it to make sure that it's able to get through things. If you have just maintenance mowing that you're doing, You can leave it on automatic mode and that will get you through just about anything. You may want to use the high power mode, so you can manually switch it to just full power. If you have really tall grass, if you haven't mowed in quite a while, or wet grass, I would recommend that you use the full power mode just to get through. You will have reduced battery life, but again, with the battery options you have, that shouldn't be a problem for most people. And then the number one thing I would say about just the quality of the cut is that the mower walk speed has a huge impact on that. Usually I leave it on the lowest speed, or there's like a half speed between 1 and 2. And that's a decent pace for walking, but it also leads to the best performance for cutting. If you get much faster on anything that isn't just like a really light maintenance trim, you're going to run into issues with like cutting and all of that. You're going to have stragglers or things that aren't getting cut properly. So if you are having that issue, I'd recommend you slow down a little bit. Just take your time and go over it a little bit slower. The last thing I would say is the moisture of the grass does impact the performance of the mower for side ejection and just the overall performance. So if you are mowing really early in the morning, if there's any sort of dew or moisture out, if it's wet, you will run into a lot of clogging. Again, I've had gas mowers side ejection where that wasn't so much of an issue, but it will be on this mower. So that's the main thing that I think will impact the performance of the mower, is just if you have wet grass. So it's a little bit tougher in the springtime where I live in Utah in the Salt Lake Valley. But otherwise, rest of the season, as long as you're not going out right after a rainstorm, the performance has always been very good. Overall, I would recommend this mower if you already are in the DeWalt system. Really like the idea of getting some good deal on some 12 amp hour batteries, and I would recommend that you invest in that battery platform if you're already in there. If you aren't in any battery platform at all, it might not be worth it to you. There are, again, some other brands, but if you have lots of power tools already, it might be better for you to go ahead and use the DeWalt system and get in here. That's all I really have to say about it. Again, I really enjoy the mower and I like the way that it performs. It makes sense for me as a person who already has a lot of batteries and everything in the DeWalt system to use it. I would recommend it just from that perspective. If you like the video, subscribe if you want to see more content. And also, if you do have any questions that I have not addressed in this video or any of my others, please feel free to drop those down in the comments and I will do my best to get back to you and let you know what's up. So thanks for watching and we'll see you in the next one. Bye.